Team commissions. This is where it gets exciting. This is when, as your organization grows, the money really starts to compound because you're getting the benefits of you and others. So we're going to get into this right away and go into how team commissions work. What's important to understand about team commissions is that we get what's called cycle. And what a cycle is every time we accumulate points in our business, and we understand from the binary training that we're building a left side of our business and a right side. And each one of those are going to have volume, meaning points. Think about like frequent flyer miles. Every time you have points in your right leg or your left leg, one is going to have more than the other. The one with more is your greater volume leg, or GVL, and the one with a lesser amount of volume is your lesser volume leg, or LVL. Every time we accumulate 600 points in one of our legs, the greater volume leg, and 400 points in our lesser volume leg, we cycle. We receive one cycle. That cycle in the beginning for a promoter or coordinator is worth $40. So if you hit 600 on your greater volume leg and 400 on your lesser, you'll hit a $40 cycle. If you get 1,200 points or more in your greater volume leg and 800 points in your lesser volume leg, you'll get 2 cycles or $80. When we reach the rank of coach, which is why it's so important to go for rank, our cycles go from $40 to $60. That's a 30% increase in our commissions on those volumes. And these volumes will go up and continue to rise, and we cycle more and more. Here's what's exciting. This is actually the only commission structure we have that maxes out. All the other commissions are unlimited. This one maxes out at 334 cycles in a single week. That means the most you can make on this bonus is $20,040 in that week. And yes, people do max out on this commission structure. It's pretty amazing, but you're going to hit that 400, 600 once. That's one cycle. 400, 600 again. That's another cycle, but that's in the week. So that means in a month, right, you can make $80,000 plus in that month just on maxing out your cycles. And I know this may sound a little out there for some people, but it happens. And this can be done on each one of the team members that are on your team, as well as your own position yourself. And when we get into the matching bonus, you'll see why that's so critical. Let's see a visual representation of what we're talking about on how these team commissions accumulate based on your lesser volume leg and your greater volume leg. And if you look, you would brought in on your sponsors either left or right side. So the illustration you see on your screen right now could be a mirror image for you if you were brought in on your sponsor's right. And same thing for your people below you, but let's look at you, and then there's a left and a right. And all those people below where you see 600 points, that's someone who brought in an 8-pack. And then there's someone who brought in a 4-pack, which is 300 points. Then you'll see the average 140/125. Now let's get into that, what that means. We are all given 140 points every time someone gets an auto ship beneath us. When people are buying their monthly bottle, getting it delivered to their home, we get 140 points that gets calculated against our rank requirements. All right, so when we get into rank requirements and we know that we need to, let's say, meet 5,000 points on our lesser volume leg to be coordinator, well, they're calculating it based on 140. But when we get paid, they're calculating it based on 125. So there's a little bit of reduction for the cost of the product that we get because we get commission on the gross profit. So we have 140 points coming up on our left and 140 points coming up on the right, and a few 8-packs and a few 6-packs. And this comes up, and all your left and your right is going to accumulate. So here's one thing that people do get confused about. So let's say the person on your right has a person on their left, and that person on the left you see has 300 points there. Well, as those points come up and join, it all becomes your right leg. So if someone's on your right, but they're on the inside left of someone on your right, they're really just your right leg. So don't get too confused. Draw a line right down the middle from you straight down, and you'll be able to see your left points and your right points. When we reach that, you'll see those points accumulated up at the top. The greater volume leg in this example is about 6,000 points, which would total up to 10 cycles, 600 points on the greater volume leg. Then on the lesser volume leg, there happens to be, in this example, 5,000 points would be 12 cycles. But since you only have a maximum of 10 cycles on the right, you will get 10 cycles. And if you are a coach or above, that's $600 just for this example for that week's points and volume. So that's just a visual representation. Thank you guys so much for paying attention. We know this one may seem a little bit more complicated, but you will get it, trust me, and this is where things really start to add up. We love you guys. Thank you so much for putting the time in to learn this. It will pay you back dividends.